Is funeral service pricing regulated? Well, the short answer is yes. In fact, there are very strict rules set forth by the Federal Trade Commission's funeral rule that state every funeral home must provide you a copy of their general price list. And they must do this prior to discussing any funeral services or cremation options that they may have. So, what's the purpose of a general price list? Well, it is so you can compare prices from one funeral home to another with a standard format used on the price list. So, what does this general price list contain? Guys, at first, it may look a little confusing. There are many, many items listed on here, but I want to try to break it down for you to maybe make it a little simpler. The first price or item you're going to see on a general price list is the basic services of funeral director and staff. Well, what does that mean? Well, guys, this is the basic charge that the funeral home is charging you to use their services. And it's usually meant rather to cover overhead cost. So if you choose a funeral home, you must pay the basic services of funeral director and staff. Well, what's next? On the price list, you will see a price for embalming. Now, remember, embalming is not required by law, only in certain specific circumstances, and it depends on state laws. So that is your choice whether to have embalming or not, and if so, there is a charge for it. Next, we have other preparation of the body. Well, what on earth does that mean? That is the dressing, casketing, restorative artwork, if necessary, to your loved one. Next on the price list, we have transfer remains for the funeral home. Well, what is that? That is bringing your loved one from the place of death to the funeral home. Other vehicles you may see on the price list would include the funeral hearse or funeral coach, aka hearse, on the price list, or any other service vehicles that may be required. Now, wait, there's more. There will be a charge for funeral service itself, a visitation, a graveside service, whatever you choose. But guys, listen, it is your choice what items to choose on a price list. And if you are being charged for an item, it's your right to ask, why am I being charged for that? That was page one. Page two. So on page two, the first thing we will have listed is a price range of caskets. So from the least expensive to the most. Also for outer burial containers, aka vaults, we'll have the least expensive to the most expensive. Now, the funeral home is also required to provide you a price list of their caskets and a price list of their vaults or outer burial containers. But wait, there's more. Also on the price list, we will have forwarding remains to a funeral home, receiving remains from another funeral home, direct cremation, and immediate burial. Direct cremation is the process of taking your loved one to the funeral home, performing the cremation without any services that the funeral home is involved in. It's called a direct cremation. Some may refer to it as a simple cremation. Next, immediate burial, or sometimes referred to as a simple burial, is taking your loved one from the place of death to the funeral home, placing them in a casket, going to the cemetery for a burial without any services, again, that the funeral home is directing. Last, on the price list, we have miscellaneous merchandise. We can have crucifix, cross, memorial videos, keepsake jewelry, memorial packages, etc., etc. There may seem like a lot, but let me tell you, again, it is your choice what items to select. Now, I hope that didn't confuse you too much, but remember, you are in charge when making funeral arrangements. And if you have any questions, please visit with the funeral director about those questions. And it's their responsibility to explain them to you. I hope that helps, and that's your fun funeral fact.